is good shot. Oh my!
Here to celebrate Georgetown! The Georgetown Raiders are Buckland Cup champions!
The Trenton Golden Hawks, the R.W. Hewitt Cup champions, are going to Coburn.
Back to Minerva. Shot scores! And the Coburn Cougars are the Royal Bank Cup champions!
This is the OJ Today. Welcome, everybody. Alex Bastiavansky, and I'm very pleased. I don't know how pleased he is to be here, but third year in a row, Mississauga Chargers head coach Joe Oshkorak.
Nice to see you, Alex.
Joining me. Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, you know what? Joe's going to join us to do a preview today of the first round of the playoffs. And kudos to you guys. You guys just missed it by an inch this year, but good performance by the boys.
Yeah, I'm really proud of our players. We had a really good season, and at the deadline, we traded a few of our better players away to give them a chance to play, and our guys kept playing hard. So I'm really happy, and we have a really good core coming back next year. So thanks very much.
The good news is that we get you back in here to do it again for your expertise. Today we're going to start off. Yeah, we're going to start off in the Northeast, and a little tables turned from last year where Aurora missed the playoffs, and Trenton, of course, went all the way and became W. Hewitt Cup champions. This year, Aurora 1 seed. Trenton 8. Now, Trenton did win the season series at 2-1-1, but I think Aurora is probably going to be considered a favorite. We'll get to that in a second, but you faced Aurora this year. What were your impressions of them?
Well, they beat us pretty good up there. They have a really good team. Jake Bricknell, that was a great trade that they made, and bringing in Brock Welsh and Austin Eastman and Christopher Jaraday and Bradley Van Schubert and that. They have a very good team. Jimmy Thompson did a great job. Vince Bellissimo's a good coach, and they really turned it around, and kudos to that organization.
They did a great job. One thing you mentioned, though, do have to watch the Pims.
They do take a lot. They do take a lot
of the guys.
He is. He plays a fine line, and a couple guys up there, Kautsopoulos and Davis are. They're hard guys to play against, but they do take penalties.
Bricknell, of course, vying with Petrucci all year for the OJ scoring league.
Very good player.
A really talented team. Keys to victory for Aurora that Joe came up with. Had a great season, just keep sticking.
Yeah, you don't want to change anything.
No.
Right now.
Play well in the defensive zone as they have all year, and use the skill and get on Trenton early, who've not played well lately. We're going to get into that right now.
No, they haven't.
The 8th-seeded Trenton Golden Hawks last season, as mentioned, the W. Hewitt Cup champions. Going into the playoffs on a bit of a downer, though. But we'll get to that in a second. Just overall from facing Trenton this year, what did you think?
We played them the very first game of the year. We won 3-2. It was the first time I've taken points off there in about 5 or 6 years. Marty Abrams comes in, great coach. They turned over 15, 16 guys, so I think people need to give them a break. But recently, I'm not sure what's going on there, but they have not played very well, and I'm sure Marty probably concerned about that going into the playoffs for sure.
Great guy you know very well, Trenton's leading scorer, Christopher Carabas. That's the guy that you had. He was your leading scorer when you traded him to Trenton before the deadline. Obviously, Carabas brings a lot of offensive punch to that team.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a great goal scorer. And I think he was hurt for us for about 3 weeks, which really hurt us. But I think he's averaged, he's got 100 points over in the last couple of years. So that definitely helping. Playoffs are different. You never know. The Trenton fans are good or bad. I don't think they're really happy with what's happened down there. The last couple of Friday nights have not been good there. And but you do start fresh in the playoffs. And they're going to have to do that, Alex.
And that's on the keys to victory for Joe is start fresh. It didn't end off all that great the regular season, but it's a whole new season now, right? Use the home ice to their advantage. Trenton is a tough place. Duncan Memorial, when those fans pack it, they get on you. And I need to be physical on Aurora's forwards who are skilled and tough.
Absolutely.
And Aurora, of course, watch those penalty minutes. So we move to number 2 Wellington against number 7 Pickering. Really good matchup, actually. Even though Wellington won the season series 4-0. It's interesting because Wellington, the first half of the season, they were on fire. They were the number 1 seed in the conference for a while, and then they faded. Your impression of Wellington?
We played them, I think, middle of the year. We lost 1-0. Our goalie, Luca Durant, played very, very well that night, to be honest with you. Young, speed, skill, big, very well coached up there. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. They haven't played well lately, mainly after Christmas time.
After Christmas, I would say, yeah.
And Pickering, we just played them the other night. They beat us 4-2, kind of, our last game for both clubs. But Dave's done a great job in Pickering, and they don't have a big team, but they got some skill, and they really work hard.
They lost 5 of their last 10 heading into the playoffs, which is why we mentioned not quite on the high they'd like to be entering on, but a lot of scoring.
You don't want that.
No, Mitch Martin, Andrew Rinaldi, Mitch Mendonca.
Good players.
Balanced scoring for that team. The keys to victory that Joe came up with, a young team. Don't look at the birth certificates, as we said last year. I mean, that was a comment we made with Georgetown 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
And they made it all the way to the final 2 years ago. Get back to what they were doing at the start of the year. Find that groove again. And match Pickering's work ethic. We are going to talk about the Panthers now, the number 7 seed. Great story after missing the playoffs last year. They turned that team around. David DeMarinis, just talk about Pickering.
They did a great job, and Dave's done a great job. I noticed, I was saying to our players the other day, I noticed even in the summertime, a lot of those guys stay together, and Dave did a great job, and we played them the other night. They got some skill, they got some speed, their goaltending's very good, and I think they're really going to give Wellington a good battle. I think I took Wellington in 7 just because of the home ice, but it's going to be a good series.
Well, you spoiled the suspense.
Sorry.
But anyway, we will say, team captain Josh Ardrew, who they brought over from Stouffville, he's done a great job.
Scored against us the other night, very skilled. Not very big, but is he ever skilled?
And skilled Dustin McFall. Joseph Franson has got it.
They got good players.
They're a good team. And DeMarinis mentioned before, he loves their compete level every game.
Absolutely, and we saw it the other night.
And you saw it the other night. Keys to victory, same as Wellington. Don't look at the birth certificates there because they got some young goalies. Langevin, a great young goalie.
Wisco played against us the other night. Played well.
Wisco was well. Don't look at those birth certificates. Keep up the work ethic. Push the pace of the game, and use that speed and skill. You already mentioned it, but we've still got 18 seconds. So you're taking Wellington, but not in a cakewalk, 7 games, you think?
Yep. And going back to Aurora, I don't think I mentioned, I'll take them in 5 as well.
We missed that one.
Yeah.
Thanks. This is
no problem.
Here for to help me out, right? So we're going to come back and talk more about the Northeast in just a second. OJ Today, coming back in a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ Today. Alex Bashevansky. I continue to be joined by Mississauga Chargers head coach Joe Washkarak as we break down the first round matchups for the playoffs. Sticking with the Northeast right now, we've got 3 versus 6, Newmarket against Markham. It'd be an interesting series for sure. Newmarket, great story this year. Thomas Milne did a great job with that team. What was your thought on the?
Generally, we only play these teams once. And Newmarket came to our rink, and I think they beat us 5 or 6-1. We weren't in the game. They have a very good team. Thomas does a great job. Jim Wells Jr., Darcy Roy, they've done a great job. Work hard, skill, good goaltending. Fraser Kirk, good forwards. They're very, very good, and they had a great season, and hats off to them.
And it was great watching the back and forth between them and Aurora this year. They were alternating for first place in the North all season long. Now, a possible fly in the ointment for them is the fact that, Alex Ierrulo led them in scoring along with Owen Ramsey throughout the season, and they were a fair margin better than the next guys, above the next best scorers on the team. So the news that we got, Ierrulo missed the last 2 games of the season, at least the last 2.
Probably more.
Word is, family day against Stouffville, he took a headshot. It was a 5-minute penalty. Ierrulo is out indefinitely. So to start the playoffs at the very least, they are missing their number 1 scorer, and they're going to have to adapt, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, like that, anytime you lose your number 1 guy, that definitely hurts you. But they have other guys that'll step up, and, they have a 23-man roster for a reason, and I'm sure Thomas will be fine. But, obviously that does hurt them a little bit for sure,
It stings, no question about it.
Yeah.
They do have great goaltending this year. The guy we've liked to call Captain Kirk all season long, Fraser Kirk, has been outstanding between the posts for them. And defensively, I mean, they're good. Christian Di Donato, all-time OJHL games played leader. That boy's the veteran of veterans back then. So defensively,
they're solid.
They're good, aren't they?
And they're tough at home too. I don't think they lost very much at home. So it'll be a good series, but Markham's got a lot of weapons too.
Great rink to play in.
Yeah, it is.
That's Ray 20 up in Newmarket. Keys to victory. Ierrulo's out, so boys have got to step up.
Somebody does.
In his absence. Of course, Ramsey's going to be relied on a lot more even than he was before. Great season. Just keep doing the same things. Need to be physical on Markham's forwards for certain. Okay, so Markham now. The Royals, up and down season.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they started off so well. For a
Yep.
good portion of the season, they were right there with Newmarket
Yeah.
and Aurora, and they just tailed off towards the end.
I'm
didn't
not
they?
sure what happened there. I hate to say it, and we've talked about this three years in a row, and I'm sure Mike's tired of hearing about it, but you know they still have goaltending issues, and they brought Nate McDonald over, who I think is really good. He's
Highly touted. He's ranked in the
He was on
NHL
my
scouting.
team in Trenton for the going to Cornell, but I don't think he has very good numbers. And you know, we beat Markham both times we played him this year, and I think goaltending was an issue in both those games. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah, they are a run and gun team, and they live by the sword and die by the sword. 199 goals for, 195 against. So from night to night, you're not really sure what you're getting, are you? Even. Unfortunately, yeah. Captain Lucas Condado, though, absolute standout all year.
Yeah, great.
I love the way this guy plays.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got so much skill, and he'll knock the crap out of you. Well,
he's a great player.
Big, strong guy. Jack Jeffers. Those two on the same line all year have been great. Braden Aubin. A lot of weapons there. The keys to victory, we should say 3 wins in their last 10 games heading in, though, so they're going to have to up their game. Goaltending, they've got the talent. Nate's, as mentioned, his numbers down the stretch weren't so great, though. They're going to have to up those. Oh, he can. He's a great goalie.
Is he ever?
I mean, Cornell, for crying out loud. Use weapons up front. Take advantage. If Irulo can't play, jump on that. Your pick.
I'm going to still take Newmarket in 6.
In 6 games.
If Irulo can't play, then maybe Markham does have a chance. Like, I think it's going to be really close games, but I just think Newmarket's just played better this year, and I'm going to go with that.
Okay. We've got, this is going to be a humdinger of a series. I don't know if I sound like an old fogey using the word humdinger, but Kingston and Cobourg, this is going to be a good one. Kingston, you know, it's funny, they were around 500 for a good portion of the season. And then the second half, they upped their game big time, and I ended up nearly catching Wellington. So talk about Kingston, your recollections of playing them.
Again, and we went down there a couple Thursdays ago, and I think it was 7 or 8-0. Like, we weren't very good, and they are good. They're good goaltending. Well, Peter Goulet's a good coach. You know, Claire, like, they got weapons too. Cole Edwards. They're a good team, and Kingston's not an easy place to play either. They play very well there.
Josh LeBlanc and Rob Clark leading the way on offense. 222 goals scored on the season. That's second most in the Northeast behind Aurora, so the weapons are there. Cobourg will have to shut it down defensively if they can. Keys to victory, play a very good team game. Need to keep doing that. They've got weapons up front who need to produce. As I try to turn my page here and keep scoring.
That's right.
There we go. Keep on scoring. I should have known that anyway. The Cobourg Cougars, last year's RBC champs. You know, huge roster turnover this year.
Massive.
Not a lot was expected of these guys, realistically. I mean, from a fan perspective anyway. You know what? They just have been outstanding over the last portion of the year. John Druce is a great coach, but they brought in Jerome Dupont, gave him a little shot in the arm. And
stuff like that happens, and Jerome's just Jerome's a winner. And I would say we tied him down there 4-4, but the last few weeks, I know they got beaten Markham the other night, but I'm telling you, like, this is a team that can upset, and I think that's a team that can do it for sure.
Yeah, it's just the way they're playing. A big difference after they brought in Dupont. And sometimes teams just get a shot in the arm, right?
He's a good coach, and he's a winner.
And they're a very, very dangerous team. They've been down the stretch. George Miranda, Connor McEachern.
Is he ever good?
Leading them offensively. Elliot Girth and Jorgen. I don't know if it's Jorgen or Jorgen, but I've been saying Jorgen all year. I like the sound of it better. Jorgen Janssen, been great between the pipes for this squad. Let's go to the keys to victory. The team's really come on well. Just keep that momentum going if they can. Need to focus on that good group of Kingston
you got to be aware of those.
Who can really run and gun. And Jerome knows how to win, so guys, listen to him, which is great advice.
That's probably the best advice.
That's advice.
It's pretty simple advice. I'm picking this as an upset. I'm going to say Cobourg, and I say Cobourg in 6 or 7. No offense, Peter, but I just think something about Cobourg. They got something special going.
Cobourg in 6. We're going to come back in just a moment and go over the Southwest. Stick around. More OJ Today coming up in just a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ Today. Alex Bastiavansky, joined by Mississauga Chargers head coach Joe Washkarek, as we now head to the Southwest Conference and break down the matchups there. The number 1 seeded Toronto Patriots taking on number 8 Orangeville. It's going to be tough for the Flyers in this one. The Patriots won the season series 4-0 and outscored them 26-9. So Orangeville has a hill to climb. No question about it. Obviously, a great season for the Patriots. You played them 4 times.
Yeah, like we beat them the other night in overtime, which was just great for our organization. But they're just loaded. John Deans did an unreal job. Mike Daly, you know, they're the first place team in our league for a reason. They have a very, very good team right from the goal line out.
First time in, I think, 3 seasons that we had a 50-goal scorer.
Yep.
And Andrew Petrucci was just outstanding this year.
He got 50 against us. That was a lot of fun.
He got 50 against you. You won the game, but,
that's true.
But he got 50.
So,
What a great season by Petrucci.
For sure. Great kid.
And part of 257 goals scored this year,
lot.
which was by far the
close.
most in the league. Wasn't even close. Georgetown, I think, was second highest in the conference, and they had 200.
Yeah.
I mean, so that'll tell you just how
score.
They're so good. So many weapons: Spagnuolo, Oliver Benwell, Brett Bannister.
Too many.
I'll run out of breath if I
we can be here all day.
keep listing this whole thing. But really, a phenomenal team and solid goaltending as well. Tyler Fast.
Hey, he did played well.
Yeah. Good team this year for sure.
Absolutely.
The keys to victory for the Pats: keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
obviously,
there's no sense changing.
number 1 team in the OJHL. They were the cream of the crop in the regular season. No need to change that. Match Orangeville's work ethic because, as we're going to get to, Orangeville works.
Very hard work.
They work hard, and that don't give them any momentum.
Yeah.
The Orangeville Flyers back in the playoffs this year. Justin Teakle did a great job.
Sure did.
GM Dana Baker. I mean, I love the Flyers. I love the way they play.
They worked hard. We didn't match up against them. We took 1 point off, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't make it. Like, they were close games, I think, but they just outworked us or got goals when they did, and tribute to their organization and their coaching. Justin did a great job this year.
What's the first thing that stands out to you about Orangeville? Is it their work ethic?
Absolutely.
Is it just how hard they play the game?
They don't. I don't think they have a lot of superstars. Well, Hudson Lambert and Vince and Rocco up front. But I don't think they have superstars like some of the TLP does. But this is a team that when you drop the puck, they just work for 60 minutes.
Hudson Lambert, though, although he might be in superstar category.
Absolutely.
Leading the team
now, I believe.
Yeah, and leading the team in scoring as a defenseman, and he also took the OJ defenseman scoring title this year. Really, really good for them this year. And as you mentioned, supporting scoring from Vincent Boniuto and Rocco Andreacci. Now, one thing about the Flyers, they only scored, look at this, 160 goals all year. They cannot get into a run-and-gun situation.
No, it's not going to be good if they do.
They're really going to have to tighten up
Absolutely, they're going to have to win 2-1, 3-2 games.
Yeah, okay. The keys to victory, let's see here. Let's stay out of the penalty box because the Pats... number 1 power play in the OJHL this year. Be physical on their top players, and they are a physical team, Orangeville.
Yep, absolutely.
They like to throw the body around and get lots of pucks to the net. Your pick, you're going to give the Flyers 1 game here?
Absolutely, and it's no disrespect to Justin or Dana, whoever's, but it's just, I think TLP is just that good.
It would be an upset, obviously, but you think they're going to take at least 1 game?
Absolutely, I think they will.
Yep. Okay. Let's move to number 2, G-Town against number 7, St. Mike's. Georgetown won the season series 3-1. And Georgetown, okay, so I think coming off last season, people had some expectations that were just, impossible to considering the amount of firepower they lost on that team, which we'll get to in a second.
They're still a good team.
They're a good team. And I think for you, it all starts in goal and on defense, doesn't it?
I think arguably with Troy Tampano and Nathan Torchia, you probably have 2 of the best goalies in the league.
And Troy Tampano, a guy they went out and got, who last year led the Erie Otters to the to the OHL championship
and Memorial Cup
final where they lost in heartbreaking fashion.
Yes, absolutely.
But, so that's some pretty darn good experience right there. No Jack Jacome this year. Last year is Mr. Everything for them, league MVP. He's lighting it up at Clarkson this year. It's been more scoring by committee, but guys like Andrew Court have really stepped up.
Great kid.
Veteran for them, great guy. He's got a scholarship. Who else? Jason Smith. Jordan Crocker, Jonathan Hampton.
There's a list, Majanet. There's a lot of good players.
Majanet's been great, and Hampton is a guy he's
really stepped
heart
up.
and soul player for them too.
Then DeAugustino, they got a good team.
A good team, And a funny thing that I've actually heard from a lot of Georgetown fans is complaining about the fact that, well, you can't win if you don't score, and this team doesn't score. Well,
they do score.
Actually, 200 goals on the season, which is 2nd highest in the Southwest. Maybe it's been the way they've scored them that hasn't seemed like a lot.
Maybe it's not as pretty.
It's just been more by committee this year.
They all count.
Keys to victory, keep playing good D. D wins games and get that good goaltending. Be physical on the Jackson Twins and Cameron Searles. And this is a team that knows how to win. They've got a lot of guys that did return from last year. They got to pass that along.
They're defending champs, and until they get beat, they're still champs, right?
Okay, St. Mike's, we've got about a minute 45 here. Cameron Searles, the leader of this squad, both the captain and the leading scorer.
Yep, good player.
Just in general, you played them 4 times. Your thoughts on St. Mike's?
I think we close to split, or maybe they have 1 point. The Jackson Tins, dynamic, Tyan Dillon and Searles, and their goaltending's been good. Rich has been in the league, him and Vic for years. They do a great job down there. Very, very tough rink to play in.
Absolutely.
Very tough rink.
And they utilize that small rink, don't they? Yep.
They've played well. Good on them. They always seem to make the playoffs, and they have a young team, but I think Georgetown may be a little bit too much for them, though.
Okay. Concerns, 197 goals allowed. That's the highest of all playoff teams, and only a 77.17 penalty killing percentage, and that's the worst of all playoff teams, which could be a bad combination for the Buzzers. But you know what? They are a very talented team, and they've got to win those home games because they've got that tight ice surface, and they normally take advantage of it. Let's go to Joe's keys to victory. Stay out of the box. That penalty killing, as we mentioned, is not top-notch.
No.
Win at home, as mentioned, at that glorious, beautiful old St. Mike's Arena. And pucks to the net and try to play better in their own defensive zone. Real quick, you're taking the Raiders.
I'm taking Raiders in 5. It may be a 6-game series just because I think St. Mike's does play very well at home, but just the experience that Georgetown has. And
going to be some good series.
Absolutely.
For sure. That'll be a fun one to watch.
Absolutely.
We're going to come back and finish off the Southwest Conference in our playoff preview. More OJ today coming up in just a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ Today, our final segment of our playoff preview, looking at the Southwest now. Alex Bastiabansky along with Mississauga Chargers head coach Joe Washkaruk. And we go 3 versus 6 now. North York against Buffalo. And the Rangers were good this year. They took the season series 3-1. Another team you faced 4 times. What did you think of the Rangers?
Very good. We played them 4 times. We had 2 one-goal games and 2 games where they were close games, but this team is extremely deep, and if there's a sleeper team that can maybe win it, say over like a TLP or something like that, that's a team I'm going to take.
Yeah, and they just, Jeff Schmogely did a great job with the guys. Vegas Knights draft pick, Nick Campoli, one of the stars of this team. He led the team, but, there wasn't, he was the only player over a point per game, but it wasn't by that much either, but very balanced scoring on this team, a good experience. Graydon Gottschalk, major junior experience. Clark Tucker.
They got a lot. They're deep, right from the goal line out. Great D, good goal. Their goaltending, Alexander Muse, they're up there with Tampano and Torchia, to be honest with you. So they have a very, very good hockey team.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of North York?
Big, strong.
Yeah, just solid all around this year.
They don't give you much.
Keys to victory for the Rangers, which are going to be keep up the special teams, PP and PK, very good all season long.
Very good.
I need to grab a win in Buffalo. This is a common complaint I've heard. Refereeing sometimes.
Sometimes it was better this. We played twice. Even with the the showcase, and it was good. Our last game there. Wasn't very good. That's all I'm going to say on that.
And continue to use your skill. Buffalo. Pardon me, head coach Nick Tuzolino. First full season.
Did a really good job there, too.
Great job by Nick this year. And talented trio of scorers in Pekka, who's obviously got the bloodline, the son of Michael.
Trevor's going to, I think, Miami of Ohio.
Very
good program.
Jakubowski, Trudowitz. So, you faced Buffalo this year a few times. What did you think?
Lost 2 at home, beat them at our place. It was a homer series. The major issue there, I'm sure you would touch on, is Christian DeFelice. If he's not going to play, then he's going to
be back for the playoffs. He's the captain. And Tuzolo even said to me,
they've really struggled since he went down. I know one player shouldn't make a team, but he does.
Coach Nick mentioned it. He said, this is our engine.
Sad. Great kid,
It's a great kid. He's from Thorold, actually. He crosses the border to play. He's the only Canadian actually.
I got a chance to meet him a little bit, and he's a phenomenal kid.
Be careful. 892 penalty minutes.
That's a lot.
Second highest in the Southwest. I know that you guys had a few encounters with them. Actually,
we did too.
They play a.
They're rough.
They're a rough team. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
79.52% penalty kill, which is the second worst PK.
So that's not a good mix if you're taking a lot of.
Not the greatest mix. No. Look. Lost 8 of 10 heading into the playoffs. They are not going in on a high, so they're going to have to flip things around big time. Okay, let's look at the keys to victory. Start fresh.
Yep.
It actually was 9 of 11 they ended up losing.
Brian George is a very good goalie.
Brian George
He can steal you games.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Brian George is one of the best in the league.
Yep.
Team needs to step up and fill the hole if DeFelice can't play and be physical.
You better be tough on those guys. For a long night.
4 versus 5, the series of death, we're calling this one. Oakville against the Junior Canadians. This is going to be a series.
We'll take North York in 5 on that, though.
Thanks, Joe. This is
no problem.
For to remind me about this.
No disrespect. I think North York's not good.
North York in 5, okay. And this series is one that I know you'll be out watching.
I can't watch. I live in Oakville, so I can't watch. And I get, I like that Oakville team.
It's you know what, the Oakville team, just a great mix of size and skill, and the old Brian Burke truculence.
Good at net. Mike Tarantino, Garrett Rutledge, very, very good coaches. They're friends of mine. I have a lot of respect for those guys, and they'll be very, very well prepared. Jeff Angelidis did a great job this year, too.
Yep, which we'll get to in a second. And Thomas Maya and Mac leading the scoring. And how about Ellenberger? As a D-man, Kelly's just on this guy.
I think he's the best D in our league, and it's not disrespect to Lambert or Di Donato or any of the other great Ds in the league. He was on my team in Trenton, and this guy is one heck of a hockey player. He is
top notch.
He's not going to Princeton for nothing. He's a smart kid.
Absolutely. He's got the hockey IQ too, obviously. Take advantage on home ice. Need to check McBain and Joffe.
Absolutely.
And use their speed and skill, as we get to the Canadians now. And really,
they have good goaltending too.
They have good goaltending, and it's really, offensively, a lot of weapons, but it's Joffe and McBain show, and a lot of eyes are going to be on Jack McBain in the playoffs, aren't they?
Yeah, and Mike's going to have last change, and he'll be prepared.
Right. Okay. Third highest scoring team in the Southwest.
Yep.
And it's not just Joffe and McBain. They've got Lopez, Sanson, Pinio.
Oh, they're deep too.
A lot of weapons there.
They do.
A lot of weapons. In goal, Dalton Ewing and Christian Mattiacci. And you think this goaltending's pretty solid.
Absolutely.
So
Dalton's been a good goalie in our league for a few years now, and Mattiacci's played a little bit more, it seems, since Christmas, from what I gather, but I'm not sure. I'm sure Dalton will start whenever they play.
Keys to victory, use speed and skill.
Yes, they
got the weapons. They need to steal the game in Oakville on the big ice.
Which is tough.
Which is going to be tough, and be physical on the blades forwards. This is almost I don't know if it's almost a pick-em series, but it's going to be really tough to Oakville, I think, a slight favorite, but you're taking Blades in 7.
Yeah, I just think the home ice will win out, and I think this is a very, very close series, and I think it was a 3-2 game, Saturday night? Where I know both teams set out some guys, or Friday night when
season
they played.
Series, I believe, was 2-2.
Yeah, so there you go. It's going to be close.
It's going to be even.
It's going to be dandy to watch.
The first round of the playoffs this year, as mentioned, all the coaches and GMs, and
they're all
agree the same thing.
Absolutely.
But you've said the same thing all year. There's no one team this year that's run away with it like it has, other teams have. There's no superpower this year, I think.
No.
It's pretty wide open.
Yeah.
So it's going to be thrilling to watch the first round.
Yeah.
I hope you're not back next year.
Me either. I like you, but I don't want to see it like this again.
But you do such a good job. Thanks
I appreciate
to Joe
it
for coming in.
Enjoy the playoffs, everybody.
Absolutely. And thanks to you for watching. Remember, ojhl.ca so you can keep up on the schedules for all the playoff matchups as well as the results. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.